So we just read a passage called the Cobra Effect. And our goal for today is we're going to try to make a personal connection to what we read, to informational text. Because our unit is analyzing informational text, okay? And being able to make a personal connection to something helps you understand it. So we just finished reading it. What sort of questions did you have while you read? Because I know when you're reading it, it sounds kind of weird, some of the stuff that's in there, because it's about snakes and it sounded weird. What questions do we have?
Well, I know that Delhi is currently like a populous city now. So if they canceled out the program and then there were all these cobras at the end because it backfired, how did they get rid of the cobras for people to live there safely?
Oh, okay, so the after effects,
Yes.
you want to know. Oh, that would be something interesting to look up. What do y'all think? Like, what was somebody else's comments about that? What do you think?
Well, I think that since they had just a lot of cobras, since they were overbreeding the cobras population increased, and the cobras eat like rats and stuff. I don't know what India has, but since they eat a lot of the rats, there's not enough rats for all the cobras to eat since they were so overbreeded, meaning that they would have probably starved out and population control would have happened on its
Yeah.
own.
Oh yeah, what is he
That would
talking
be
about? What is that called? When you have animals that eat other animals,
Like the food chain and everything.
Oh yeah, the food chain, that. So there was probably, do you think there are more effects than just, oh, there's more snakes now?
Yeah, because then all the stuff at the bottom, there's not enough of it because there's way too many cobras and then everything dies out.
Okay, cool. So we've got kind of the premise of what the passage is about as far as like the facts and the data. If you were gonna describe, like, tell me what was like the main idea of this passage. What do you think? Oh, your hands up, what you got?
I think the main idea of the passage was to tell people about how, like you think it's a good idea until it actually happened and it wasn't really a great idea. Like the thing they thought if I just put a bounty on cobras, they would get rid of them, but then people wanted more money, so they started breeding them. So it wasn't really a good idea at all. Like it just made the whole thing worse. So it didn't really help them at all.
Yeah. Why don't you ask somebody else and what they think? What do you want to ask?
I think sometimes things are good in theory, and whenever in actual practice they tend to not be as good.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like sometimes you have to think things through, and you know that's why it's sometimes good to have different opinions on stuff too. Like whenever you're discussing, because then y'all can like talk through things, so then bad stuff doesn't go into effect and cause hectic problems.
Okay, so you're questioning how well they thought through this problem. I'm questioning that too. So let's look at the second part of this passage. So the first part was about the cobras. Somebody tell me about the second part.
About the bags,
Yeah.
I was thinking why not just stop making bags? Like just stop making plastic bags altogether instead of like trying to put tax on it because people don't like taxes, so that's gonna make a fuss about taxes on lightweight bags and plastic bags. So.
Yeah, I think like maybe they could just stop having them in the grocery stores, and then like, oh, I forgot my plastic bag. Well, that's bad for you, and then you have to take your cart to your car, unload everything individually, and then it just gets rid of the problem completely. Or you bring your old ones from home. That way, you have to
like certain stores have like you have a bag you bring it yourself to go or something. So.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think?
Well, I feel like the main problem with the plastic bags was because the fact that the plastic bags were more expensive than using the thicker bags because there was a tax on it, right? Well, I feel like if they could find a way to innovate a reusable bag in such a way, hiring companies or something to make it cheaper and cost effective to be better than plastic bags, then more people would use them. So it's more like innovation.
Well, it says in one of the things that they were making the bags much thicker and everything, and they made good ones, but then customers did not really want to reuse the bags. They just threw them away and really...
But they didn't make reusable bags.
They just made
They
thicker
made
bags.
thicker bags.
Well, I feel like thicker bags, like whenever I thought of it, you know those bags at like TJ Maxx, or like the thick plastic bags are like this big and you like reuse them over and over. And I was thinking they were using those because they sell those in the grocery stores too. But then a lot of people forget to bring them,
Bring
and
their
so
own
then
bags.
they'll buy another one and buy another one, and then they have too many, so they just throw them away.
Yeah, that is true.
So either way, whenever we use the plastic bags, they're all gonna end up in the ocean eventually because we're humans and forget everything.
Yeah. We don't really use plastic bags.
So let's go back to, that kind of goes back to what you were talking about as in theory versus in actual practice, right? How do these passages have anything to do with each other?
They were both trying to solve a problem, but it didn't really work out the way they wanted to. Like it worked in the beginning, but then it kind of like slowly went down. You know, when you're interested in something, like you have a new game, you play it for like 5 days straight, and then you kind of like, oh, I already played it, so, and you just like put it aside, and then you get another new game, and then you do the same thing. So it's like that.
Okay. What do y'all think about her analogy? Like, ask them what they think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's pretty true. Like, whenever you first get new Christmas presents or something, you're so excited about them. But after a while, it gets tiring and you just get lazy. And
You
like,
find them on the floor or something like that.
yeah, in the Cobra thing, they got lazy. They didn't want to work to find us. They made Cobra farms. And in this, they got lazy and didn't really want to bring the new bags back, so they just threw them away and kept buying new ones.
They always found like a loophole for every
Yeah.
problem.
Also, another thing for the Cobra thing, like the Cobras were there first, so why would they try to like move it? They should have like tried to figure out a way to like not kill them off, because then it affects the whole life cycle, because you have to have Cobras to eat the rats, stuff like that. But like they should like try to design a certain way so they won't be affected, like medicine, because we have medicine now for snakes, and we're not killing snakes now as much as they did back then.
Wait,
So,
what do you mean medicine?
Like when you get bitten by a snake, you go to a doctor, right? And they give you medicine to
Like anti-venom.
Yeah, but like they can't just do that they can't just do that every single time there's a snake. Like
I know, but like they should or do something instead of killing off. Like, 'cause say something like they were giants. Say giants are real. So giants will come down here and kill us because they don't like us.
Like how you would keep bandings at your house, people would keep anti-venom or something that helps with the venom.
I guess I don't really agree with that. I don't think that's like you could move them or like relocate them. You know, maybe there was like some remote island and you could just ship them off while there. But I don't think we should try to harmonize with them. And if we get bit, well, okay for you. Get some medicine, you'll be fine. Like these are 10-foot snakes that are they're like big with fangs and they can instantly like kill you. I think.
Well, why would you move them? Move them to
Because
a
you're
remote
trying
island.
to habitat.
But that's their habitat.
We got some other people back here. What do you think?
So I think what she's trying to say is that they should have found a long-term situation instead of something that's like temporary.
And like trying to move the snakes, like the more that you get, like you can't fully get rid of them. You know that because there's always going to be some. But the more that you try to ship off or move, there's I don't know how to explain this. There's still going to be snakes there, so either way, it would still be the same problem, and they'd still reproduce. And
After the snakes are gone, it's gonna be another problem we have to solve
Yeah.
because another animal's in the way. Oh,
It'd be much easier to just find a way to coexist with the snakes.
that's what.
Because snakes don't just want to kill humans as soon as they see them, you know, like they have brains. And if you got rid of all the cobras, put them on an island or whatever, that means that there's a lot of mice and rats and pests going on in, meaning that bubonic plague will spread through the streets of India. And that's a lot worse than a snake bite. It does not have an easy cure, especially not at that time.
So we've really thought through all of this as far as this kind of the what if scenarios. I want you to think about how these two passages are similar. Okay, they both tried to fix a problem but wound up making it worse, right? We want to make some sort of personal connection to that. I want you to take a second and think about, is there a time in your life where you have maybe tried to make something better, but it made it worse? worse. Like, for example, one time when I was a kid, I was drawing a picture and I went to erase it with the eraser, but the eraser was super dirty, it had ink on it, and just made it worse, and I smeared all the pencil, my drawing around it, just made it, the more I tried to fix it, the worse it got. So, like, kinda as an example, so think about a time where you tried to fix something, but it wound up not going as planned. What do you think? Tell me.
Well, there was this one time when I found something out, and so like it was about this person, and so then I tried to like warn the person because it was a negative thing towards them, but then they took it out thinking I was like saying a bunch of stuff about a bunch of people, and so everyone got really frustrated with me, which I really wasn't trying to do that. I was just trying to like help the person out so they could like set the thing straight, but then it kind of backfired because everyone thought I was just talking about it.
Sometimes I try to help people, like they just got a lot of problems and they had a lot of problems, and I tried to help them as long as I could, but I honestly should have just given up on them and not talked to them anymore, because talking to them more was just making it worse, and I don't think they were in a position where they even wanted to get better. So if you don't want to get better, what's the point of even trying to make them better, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Me and my brother once got into an argument, and I was like trying to tell him my side, and he took it the wrong way, and it just kept on getting worse every time I tried talking.
That happens sometimes, yes. Communication.
Like with my little brother, my other little brother Mason, like when he eats, he always like it makes a lot of noise. So I kept trying to tell him to stop eating, and then he'll like get emotional, start crying, and I'm like, I wasn't meaning it in a bad way. I was just trying to tell you not to eat like that or do something like that.
That happens, especially with like younger kids sometimes. They're gonna cry about anything.
My little sister, she's 2, and so she she understands stuff sometimes, but then like sometimes she just doesn't listen, and then like if you get her in trouble, she doesn't understand yet, and so then she starts screaming and hitting, and it's
Because how many of us can relate to that with younger siblings or younger cousin that you're trying to deal with and they just get more upset? Okay, well, what I want you to do is think about that in your advisory classroom, in your journal, say your journal that I made for you for your advisory classroom. I want you to write about some sort of personal connection that you can make to this, whether let's differentiate between being able to relate to the topic and being able to relate to maybe a detail. Somebody in another class period earlier wrote, I can relate to this because I have seen a snake before. If you were gonna label that from like 0 is not deep at all to 10 is very deep, like what on a scale of depth would that answer be?
1.
a 1.
A 1.
Probably a 0 or a 1, okay? Oh yeah, so we're looking for depth here. We're looking for not so much like I know what a snake is, but the scenario itself. How can you relate to the way of thinking of someone in the passage, how they thought about it? How can you relate to dealing with an outcome that is not what you wanted? That's very much part of human nature, is dealing with unwanted or unexpected outcomes.
$14 minutes.